So guys, hello to my channel and moin moin. So today I react or re-react on why old games are better than new games. And actually, I think before I start the video, the old games are mostly better because in there the old games have a soul in there. If you need and yeah, this is what new games are not have, and uh, this what's called this culture war fight in the games too. What's in our games not exist. So yeah. So before I start the video, don't forget to subscribe my channel, give a thumb up, and write a comment down below. Yeah, and activate the bell and follow me on my social media. And then I will say, let's get started.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I haven't been genuinely excited for a new video game release in a very long time. The only exception to that is 2 years ago with Elden Ring, because From Software is just that good of a company and they haven't let me down.
Because this is a great game.
So of course I was pretty pumped for that one. Now that doesn't mean that I haven't enjoyed a few recent games. I definitely have. They were.
Yeah, me too. This year I played Stellar Blades on Twitch Live. This was actually a fun game. Robocop, Rogue City was the fun game too, and a little bit Helldivers 2 I played too, and yeah, this was actually a fun game too. Two of this was, by the way, a AA game, and one of them a AAA. And which of the three is the AAA game? Yes, Stellar Blade.
Games that I didn't have on my radar or wasn't particularly excited for ahead of their release, but games that I decided to try out and ended up having a bit of fun with. Some of which have been remakes of older titles, but I'll get to those in a minute. If you've been watching my channel for the past couple of years, you know I'm someone that appreciates the finer details in games. Rich environmental storytelling, beautiful art direction over graphical fidelity.
Yeah, and I don't understand why so many gamers jerk off of some graphics. I mean, see Need for Speed Most Wanted, one of my favorite games of all time. This didn't have the best graphics today for today's standards, but this doesn't have mass. This game have a soul, and yeah, it's a EA game, but this is another issue.
Compelling narratives with great dialogue and badass memorable characters. And I've realized over the last few years that all of these things are found primarily in older games.
New Vegas, great game too.
Releases with a few of these elements.
Baldur's Gate 3 I played on private. A great game.
But games that check every single box on this list are games like
Stalker? Okay, I jerk off, sorry, but by Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl, I must jerk off.
BioShock, the Batman Arkham series, Skyrim, and so on. All games that are well over 10 years old. And one of the most important reasons older games like this have a leg up over recent.
My goodness, this is what Far Cry 3. I must play this game. I heard much about this, but I never played. So yeah, my fault, but I must play the game.
Is that they're safe from the infestation of social politics and woke ideology. Now that doesn't mean games weren't political. Games have always been political to a degree.
That is absolutely true. See the GTA series, or specifically the GTA 5 mission by the book, so you literally torture a man for good reason. I mean, yeah. By the way, I make a video to this topic too. Comes in the next few days.
BioShock games, for example, are certainly political, with the first game being a critique of objectivism and capitalism, and also just a widespread critique of authoritarianism. BioShock 2 is a critique of socialism and collectivism, and BioShock Infinite is a critique of religious extremism and American exceptionalism. A lot of these critiques are inherently left-wing, Some of them, like the case in Bioshock 2, might be considered a critique from a right-wing point of view, but mostly the games are left-wing. Yet there's a reason these games aren't considered woke by most people, and that's because they leave it up to the player to be smart enough to interpret and understand what the game is trying.
Yeah, and this is the issue by modern games and their politics. They don't want that you think by yourself. They only want that you agree, and if you not agree, you're Nazi. This is so fucking stupid that I can play Russian roulette, literally. I mean, this is the dumbest take I've ever heard. And I'm German, and I've heard a lot of stupid topics.
The game isn't afraid to also critique its own message at times and show their own weakness. They weren't inserting modern-day talking points and TikTok ideologies into the character design and dialogue. It allows the player to try and see things from all angles. This is why Andrew Ryan, for example, is a fantastic villain, the same way people talk about Thanos from the Marvel films. There's a layer of understanding where the...
To be fair, I only played Bioshock Infinite, and this was great. This was definitely a great game.
Some level of relatability. Maybe they aren't entirely wrong with their thinking, but they went about things in the wrong way. And that's how you can make a game political without being woke, or its opposite.
Yeah.
Plenty of older games had a lot of left-wing undertones and messages, like Fallout New Vegas. But is that game considered woke? Most people would say no.
Nope.
In fact, if you like some of these older left-leaning games in 2024,
I don't would say this both games are right to the left-wing games. I would say these are neutral. They are neutral. What's called this? These are both liberal games. So, yeah.
The woke crowd calls you a right-wing fascist, which makes absolutely no sense. But that's how far modern-day social politics has declined. And if you compare a game like Bioshock or New Vegas to the modern left-wing slop of the last few years...
Yeah, the modern games are definitely left-wing games. The new Saints Row reboot I don't fucking know. The Far Cry 6, both are definitely right-wing games from the left wing, and these games are so known that people go to the right wing because they are not of this left wing messages from the High Council. So yeah.
You really start to see how one of these things is a creative, artistic, political commentary, and the other is straightforward propaganda force-fed into every facet of the game design. So when people say they want politics out of games, I don't fully agree with that. I like games with...
I would say, let's make politics in games, but let's the player take their own what's the English word for this? Let's oh my fucking goodness, my English is right now. Let's make the player their own opinion of the political message.
Ideas. Most games have always had them, but it has to be done right. And no, that doesn't mean it has to be politics I agree with. You just have to do it in a classy, realistic, and non-preachy way. As for social politics, this is where I think...
My fucking goodness. My fucking goodness. This looks so fucking hilarious. So... 1, 2, 3 words, and one photo, and one... I can't identify this here. I don't fucking know. Who was the good old Dute?
The problem truly lies. There's always been gay characters in video games, there's always been female protagonists, and there's always been people of color as protagonists and...
Yeah, Mafia 3, from gameplay aspect, not a good game, but the political aspect and in which time period it's played in the mid 1960s. So there was the normal thing to call a black dude the N-bomb. And I don't mean with this Nazi. I mean that another N-bomb.
But if you read the mainstream gaming news outlets lately, you'd think that there's never been anything but white dudes in video games until Sweet Baby Inc. swooped in and saved the industry. But of course, that's not true, and any real gamer already knows this. The difference is, when we had a gay character in a game, they were just a gay character. A female character was just a female character. A black guy, a Chinese guy, a Mexican, there's no problem with this.
With other words, these people, or these characters in the games are literally characters, and not some stupid puppets.
They've been in games forever, but what's different nowadays is how they're treated. Now we must race or gender swap characters. Replace.
This is the stupidest thing that you can ever make. Instead, you make 4 black dudes like in Mafia 3. Their own story, their own character. They only replace the character and the skin color, or both. And I take example, the movies or series. If you know Lieutenant Uhura from Star Trek, I mean the original series, this woman, I forget the name of the actress, but she was a black woman. And imagine you make a remake of the original Star Trek series. I mean, with Leonard Nimoy and with Mr. Spock and Captain Kirk. And imagine you make a reboot, a remake of the original series, but instead you make Uhura with plays with a black actress. You chose, I don't know, Taylor Swift to play Uhura. The internet will burn in this case. Trust me. And that's, by the way, for good reasons.
Protagonist with a toxic masculinity-based female character with probably the most impossible physique for a biological woman. Replace a Persian prince with a black guy that has a 2024 haircut. In a sequel for a game named after the main character, why not play as a black female FBI agent instead? In fact, Remedy put out a teaser trailer for Alan Wake 2 several years ago showing Saga Anderson finding Alan, and she was a white female.
This is stupid. So if would be the FBI agent, the female FBI agent, a long-standing character, I'll be fine. But in this case, it's called blackwashing, the opposite of whitewashing. If you know what whitewashing is if you have a black character and make them white, by example from Uhura for a couple of minutes, is technically whitewashing. And whitewashing is basically racist, and the opposite is, in my opinion, the same. Racist is only racist only to have a black character in there. You make a white woman black. And no, I don't have an issue with black woman. Uhura, one of my favorite female characters. Or here, from Black Panther, the sister, from Black Panther 2. Black Panther 2. I never see this movie, to be honest, but I know that the leading role is a black female. So what's the message of the movie is? It's another take, but I don't have a problem if you have a black character, male or female, I don't give a fucking shit about that. But it must be good written and must stand for
so
itself.
They race swapped that character partway through development, likely thanks to that ESG money rolling in to hire Sweet Baby Inc. Hades too race swaps various Greek gods and even gives one of them vitiligo for some reason. And the only time they race swap to a white guy is when it's a villain, like Larry Chang in the
What? They don't will be racist, but this is I don't give a fuck. It's a villain or the protagonist of a story. If you race swap somebody, which color or area doesn't care, it's be racist. So simple is it. Race swapping is racist.
The new Dead Rising remake.
And I don't fucking care in which direction the race swap is. Both sides are, in my opinion, racist.
Characters once straight are now being confirmed as gay, transgender, or non-binary. And it's extremely obvious to anyone who isn't burying their head in the sand that this is a deliberate attack on masculinity, white men, and biological women. Some people want to be willfully ignorant on this. White men and
wait a second. What I learned is this is Abby from Last of Us Part 2. What I learned is she's not trans, she's only a bodybuilder. Correct me if this wrong, but if she is a female bodybuilder, it doesn't have things to do with trans. This only she is bodybuilding, so they make much sport, and so she has a body. If she finds this attractive, it's your case. I don't give a fuck. It's not my type of woman. But yeah.
Biological women.
I think you know what I mean.
Willfully ignorant on this topic. People want to deny
but
reality,
this is exactly it's hilarious.
Game companies are concerned with reaching quotas and performing well on their ESG scorecards in order to secure more BlackRock money. And I just want to ask those of you that defend ESG and companies like Sweet Baby Inc., do you think that BlackRock, largest asset manager in the world, trillions of dollars in assets, buying up all the homes, do you think Larry Fink and BlackRock are funding ESG and DEI out of the goodness of their hearts? Or could they be pushing all this garbage for another reason?
Nope. This, my dear rogue idiot, this is the white man who controls your fucking mind. I think he came on this case, but this guy make not a secret of this, that he will force behavior, or called something like this. If I find this video, I link this down in the description.
Most people who know about BlackRock know the horrible practices they're involved in. I recommend looking into it. So do you really think that funding ESG at almost every company they invest in is being done because they're such a moral and ethical company?
No. Nope, and nope. They only make this shit here for the Western market, but if it comes out in China, they delete this shit. They only care about money, and again, money.
Or is it more likely because they want to poison the minds of the people with corrupt and destructive ideologies? They don't need more money, they just want to change the narrative to whatever suits their benefit for power. So all you need to ask yourself is...
Nah, I don't agree with this. I think the suits they only want to have money, and since this is the best way to capture to make money, to manipulate some ideology group idiots to make money, but it doesn't work.
Why would the most corrupt and evil corporation in the world be funding woke social ideologies in all the companies they invest in, which unfortunately extends all the way down to video game companies? But alright.
Not only video game companies, the movie industry too, comic industry, maybe the book industry too, but I don't read many books, so I can't say not enough. Can say my part to this. But for example, Mercedes, Volkswagen, BMW or Audi. I take for this example Volkswagen, or what's called in English Volkswagen, and German, so I say Volkswagen. So I lost the point. Volkswagen have a fabric in China, in the close area of Chinese concentration camp. Yeah, and this is what they make only to make more money. But in Germany and the USA, I don't care about now the what's called the US thing with Trump and the shit. I don't care right now. What I mean is that this company in the western sphere, what's called in English? My English is back right now. That Volkswagen make money with the LGBTQIA plus the flag on their logo in the Pride Month, but don't do this in Saudi Arabia, China, or all of the countries who homosexuality is basically illegal. So, what do you think? Do you think they make this they put their flag for good for a good for the good thing in the profile of money? I think second.
That's enough about these fucking dorks. Let's move on to remakes. One of the most popular trends in the gaming industry of the last few years is the remake, and they come in the form of reforges, reduxes, resurrections, rebirths, collections, remasters, reboots, or simply just the remake. This stands as just another example that shows older games were better, and the game publishers know it too. There's at least
this is actually sad. Because Xenoblade was a great game and stand out because it makes something new. And yeah, these games have the bonus of the nostalgia, but this can't not only be the only reason. I say the GTA Trilogy remake was basically fucked up from the gameplay and the graphics, not from the games itself. Because San Andreas is one of the best games ever made.
There's 3 reasons why the remake is so popular nowadays with AAA publishers. Number 1, the majority of AAA studios are creatively bankrupt. Not every AAA game released over the last few years.
I think they're not really bankrupt. I think that the creative persons in the studios don't have any room to make the creativity. Because creativity means risk, and companies don't really make risk. But if what is the sentence again? No risk, no fun.
Years have been bad, but I'm not hesitant to say that most of them have been extremely average to below average. Even some of the most popular franchises have been receiving underwhelming sequels that often achieve mediocre sales. Number 2, it's easier to remake a game than to develop an idea from scratch. With a lot of these remakes, the games are rebuilt from the ground up, which, yes, is no easy task. It takes a lot of time and work to recreate assets and overhaul world designs inside of a new engine, but the groundwork has already been laid. The story is already...
A good example, by the way, what I can think is what stands up is Cyberpunk 2077, and yeah, it was fucked up by launch. I played at launch. I pre-ordered the shit, biggest mistake of my life. But could say, yeah, it's a great game. But the start was more fucked up than everything else.
The world building is done, The structure of the game is set. All that needs to happen is pushing forward on recreating it all inside a new engine, which again does take a lot of work. It's why these remakes take several years to develop, but it is still easier than a brand new idea. Number 3, nostalgia. The gaming industry and Hollywood, for that matter, have all been focused on selling nostalgia for the better part of a decade now. And nostalgia is certainly a powerful thing, and is almost a guarantee to see a return on investment if the product is good. Some of the highest selling games of the last few years, though, have been remakes, collections, and remasters, even for games that don't need it.
GTA 5 was made remastered all the time, or in Hollywood was called Ghostbusters. They have sequels, prequels, and spin-offs. It's burned now than it was successful. There's another franchise. The MCU, of course, or etc. You know what I mean. I have now many ideas of examples. Is 10 or 16, 11 o'clock is 11 o'clock 16 p.m. here in Germany always. So I'm a little bit tired. So excuse me if I don't have direct examples on the sun, if you know what I mean.
But I'm of the belief that it isn't just nostalgia or flashy photorealistic graphics that sells remakes so easily. I think older games are just better. And I want to explain a few reasons why remakes like RE4, System Shock, Dead Space, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2? Why these games are so popular with gamers. Number 1, a lot of these older games are linear. With a lot of recent remakes, they're games that are usually pretty linear by design. The Resident Evil games, Dead Space, System Shock, these are the type of games that are getting remakes most often. They aren't massive open worlds, they're slowed down.
Yeah, and this, I like, by the way, open world games, but sometimes it's fucking annoying. I mean, yeah, it's cool to have a big world, but you will finish sometimes the game and will have, I don't know, stuck in the game for 80 hours plus. I mean, I streaming. I'm a streamer, basically, so it's a part of a job to stream longer games, yeah. But imagine you are working on the construction site and have a hard working day, and you only will chill out by playing game. So your phone will have find 200 hidden places and secrets. You only will take a break off and shoot some monsters.
Straightforward narrative, simple gameplay type of games. And there's a lot of value in games like this. After the transition to open world, I think a lot of us really started to miss when games were more linear like this. And I wish more original titles were linear in this way as well. Like a new Splinter Cell game that is an open world and is a proper mission-based stealth action video game, that would be perfect. Number 2, better narratives. Simply put, the narratives of these older games are far better than what studios are capable of nowadays. They weren't restricted by ESG checklists or DEI hiring. They had truly talented writers that knew how to tell a story in a unique medium such as video games. Instead,
and what I would say to this point, don't make it ever too serious. I mean, I miss games. They was silly, but they know was silly, like like Borderland. I mean, this franchise is fucking silly sometimes. But sometimes, it's always silly. Or Saints Row, and I don't talk about the reboot. I talk about the original games.
Copy Marvel film tropes and dialogue. Stories and dialogues could be a bit more edgy. They could be offensive. And nowadays, a lot of games are very hyper sanitized. Every character is so overly nice and cringy. And unfortunately, some of these remakes ended up getting their narratives, characters, and dialogue tweaked to cater to the sensitive crowd. Even the remakes can't just be recreated.
if you don't, so, my opinion, if you have problems with some humor in games, don't play the fucking game. So easy is it. So, for my case, for me, for example, I don't really like horror games or Barbie games. It's not my case, but I love racing games, I love shooter, I love RPGs. So, yeah, and because I didn't like Barbie games, I don't play it. Sometimes I play horror games, but it's not really my taste, to be honest. But it's not must be my taste, but something offensive. I mean, like in the ages who everything technically was offensive and stupid or something else. Like Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger. This movie is so fucking dumb, but so fucking funny because the movie it knows that it's so fucking dumb.
They also have to be updated for modern audiences. Number 3, unique and memorable characters, worlds, and gameplay.
Yes?
So many.
Yeah, Trevor Phillips, Duke Nukem, CJ, Clouds, Bayonetta, Samus Aran, to simply say that I know the short time I can think
here.
These
older titles had such memorable characters that game studios just have a hard time of trying to replicate. The worlds they created are genuinely awesome to explore and immerse yourself in. The gameplay is usually pretty simple and straightforward, prioritizing fun and immersion over complex and unnecessary additions.
Yeah, and this is what I mostly dislike. If you must have the fucking encyclopedia of I don't fucking know the fucking period system, or I don't fucking know, must think over and over again how you make the great correctable. I mean, sometimes it can be fun. I don't say this, but if you just have in any game you must have a skill tree with over 200 options in one side and 200 options in another side. You can really you must invest the time in this, and this is time that most people don't have.
These are the reasons I believe remakes are so popular. The older game design style is really enticing right now. However, there are several downsides to remakes, like with the writing. Unfortunately, most of them end up removing a lot of the charm and disrupting the lore and world building in favor of realistic graphics, or, again, to conform to modern-day social politics. Like the Demon Souls remake, replacing this statue of a samurai knight with a generic knight, for example. And Demon Souls remake has tons of examples just like this. Or the Resident Evil remakes, having tons of removed content. Changing character designs in multiple games to ensure they're as ugly as possible now. Removing anything that could be considered sexual or provocative. It's funny how game developers...
What I can't take to this, the purity in games. And they don't mean the right-wing Catholic purity. I mean the left-wing open-minded purity.
Developers suddenly became these gigantic prudes when it comes to attractive female characters in games. They begin rivaling 85-year-old pastor level of prudeness when they do things like remove Miranda's butt scene in the Mass Effect remake, or turning Joanna the Babe from Perfect Dark into this chiseled man-like specimen, or Lara Croft looking like that. Christ.
No,
so
please not.
Short, yes, older games are better than new ones. Studios know this, which is why they keep trying to cash in on remakes. Gamers know this, which is why a lot of older games still have more players than new releases, and why remakes are still what get people the most excited. And every one of you know this because you can see the social politics destroying the hobby we love. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.
So I mostly agree with him. So I would say what he say. What Write what you think down below in the comments and see us in the next video.